So 2018 was a really big year for me. I moved from the city back to the country. And for the first 6 months of the year, I had to live with my mother-in-law, which wasn't too bad, except I didn't have anywhere to put my gear. So I didn't really buy too much gear when I was living with her. Once we settled into our new house, I was able to buy more equipment. And here's what I bought. So the first pedal I bought was the Mower Ryoko Delay. I was putting together a board just for live work and I needed a smaller delay than what I was using, so I decided to buy one of these because I'd owned one in the past. The analog setting and the tape setting are my favourites on it. They sound pretty good, but at the end of the day I didn't really use it much live, so I ended up getting rid of it. So this year was the first time I'd ever bought a fuzz pedal, or at least a standalone fuzz pedal, and I went with the Big Muff Nano, which I got for a bargain. And I have to say, it was interesting. It was very different. If you've never tried fuzz before and you're used to using distortion or overdrive, it reacts completely differently to the way that you play. It's kind of fun to use it and then whack in, say, a tube screamer type pedal in front of it to boost the mids. Didn't use it a whole lot. Sat off the board for a while, and then I decided I wanted to buy some other things, so I ended up selling it. But yeah, it was a decent pedal, and like I said, it was pretty fun. There are times where I regret having sold it, but you know, life goes on. When I put together my live board, I wanted some different preamp sounds, so I bought a couple of the Mower preamp sounds. The Day Tripper does the sort of overdriven Vox AC30 sound really well. I did a video on comparing this to the much more expensive Wampler 30-something pedal, which you can check out. But for what I use it for live, it does the job and it does it really well. So it was definitely a keeper. I also bought the Mower 2 Stones, and I bought this more to modify the clean sound. It gets a really nice Fender-ish type clean sound, which brings my live clean sound to life when you're running straight into a PA. So it does a really good job with that as well. I use the overdrive through the amp, it sounds really good, but through the PA it doesn't sound so good. So live I only use it as a clean pedal, but you know, you whack on some chorus, maybe a little bit of delay, and you can play The Police all day long. 2018 marks the year I bought back a pedal I haven't owned for about 20 years, which is the Zoombox Distortion by Guitartone. Now this was the very first pedal I ever owned, and I think I gave it away or I swapped it for another pedal years and years ago when I was about 18. Now I always remembered I really liked this pedal when I was younger, but when I bought my Directify solo head, I decided that I had no need for this pedal anymore and I got rid of it. So I did the old thing where you buy back equipment that you used to own when you were younger to check it out, and I have to say I'm very pleased with the results. It is an excellent sounding distortion pedal. Sounds similar to an MXR Distortion Plus. I've had it now for about a year and I still haven't done a video for it, but I will, I promise. I'll show you what it sounds like, but it's brilliant. I really like it. I also ventured into the world of tremolo for the first time. I've never bought a standalone tremolo pedal before, and I was really impressed with the functionality of the TC pipeline. I did a video on this earlier this year, and I can tell you it is a brilliant pedal. I am going to maybe do another video where I compare the tremolo from this pedal with the tremolo in my new amplifier, so stay tuned for that. But overall, very impressed with the pipeline. So this year I also bought a couple of pedals that you'll see on a lot of people's boards. They are a bit of a cliche these days, but they are a cliche for a reason, and that is the Strymon Big Sky and the Strymon Timeline. They are brilliant. I did a video a couple of months ago on a function that I use delay. I've been doing this for years. It's just a bit of a practice tool, but it's pretty fun. So if you want to check that out, have a look on my channel. I haven't obviously bothered doing a keep or sell videos for these two pedals because there's no point. I mean, I'm going to keep them. They are absolutely brilliant. You don't spend the money it costs to buy these if you're just going to sell them. But the only thing I wish is that I had more time to sit down and really get into the nuts and bolts of these pedals because they are capable of so much. So I really want to spend a bit more time with them, get to know them a little bit better, and come up with some really cool sounds. Playing live, I've had a need for a looper at different times, and I did buy a little a Moon looper about a year ago, but it wasn't stereo and it was limited, let's just say. Anyway, a friend turned me on to the NUX Loop Core pedal, which is basically a rip-off of a Boss looper, and I tell you what, for $100 or how much they cost, they do a fantastic job. They can store 99 presets, so you can record your own loops, or you can load in your own backing tracks, which I use it more as a sampler live, where I play back loops that I've already created rather than making them on the spot. So I do a little bit of cheating there, but it works really, really well. And for the money, I tell you what, this thing is brilliant. So if you want a looper, have a look out for the NUX Loop Core. The last pedal I bought this year was the Boss CE2W. Now, if you're not familiar with the Wazacraft pedals, basically what Boss have done is they've reissued classic pedals, some of which they no longer make, like the CE2, and they've released it but with some new tweaks. Now, in the case of the CE2W, it also has the circuit of the famed CE1, which is the very first pedal that Boss ever released, but it was massive. It's bigger than a Strymon Big Sky, and it runs off mains power, but it has an absolutely classic sound that is different to that of the CE2. So the CE2W gives you both circuits in one, and it also has the vibrato function of the CE1, and I think it sounds absolutely brilliant, and I shall be releasing a video using that in the not too distant future. And the last piece of gear I bought this year was the Fender Deluxe Reverb 68 reissue, which looks brilliant and sounds just as good. I did a fairly extensive video on this about a month ago, so if you want to check out that, please do. But I've really been loving this amplifier. I've done a lot of recording on it, and it sounds fantastic. Not regretting it one bit. So what I have noticed though is, because of the size of my pedal board, I am in need now of a buffer, because my signal straight into the amp is vastly different now to the signal going through the pedal board into the amp in bypass mode. So I'm going to have to buy myself a buffer to boost up that top end again. So there were some pedals that I wasn't using or I was upgrading, which I had to sell. One of them was the before mentioned 1+30 something. I just found that the overdrive function on this was relatively useless to me. I couldn't find any really good applications for it. The clean sound was good, but I didn't use it as much as I probably should have for a pedal that's worth as much as that. It wasn't getting the use, so I sold it. Also, the Ki9 pedal, which I bought last year and had a lot of fun with. Again, it was a fantastic pedal, a lot of fun, but it wasn't getting enough use, so I had to move it on. And then a couple of pedals which I upgraded. Obviously, when I bought the Strymon Timeline and Big Sky, I had to get rid of my delay and reverb pedals, so I had to say goodbye to the Flashback, which had been a very decent pedal I had. I really liked that, but it was basically outclassed by the Timeline. And I did a video on the MXR M300 reverb just before I got rid of that. And I was sad to get rid of that. It was a lovely pedal, really enjoyed it, but it was time for that one to also be moved on. I'd like to thank everybody who's watched my videos, and especially to those people who have subscribed this year. Hopefully next year I'll be able to be a bit more productive than I was this year and produce a few more videos for you guys. If you have any suggestions for ideas that you want me to try, please come forward with those. I'll see what I can do. But I know if you're like me and you like to buy and sell gear, you can never have enough different opinions on a piece of equipment and see enough demos to help you make up your mind what it is that you're actually after. So I'm happy to keep providing that as long as people are still watching. So cheers, I'll see you in 2019.